Hey, yo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out SledgeHammer TV tonight. It is Tuesday, January the 30th, 2018. It's Rusev Day here on the SledgeHammer Wrestling Show for your official SmackDown live review. So let's do it right here and right now on the newest, fastest wrestling podcast in all of YouTube, baby. The SledgeHammer Wrestling Show. Let's do it.
The SledgeHammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. This, as always, is my loyal companion, my trusty tag team partner, my best little buddy, Blue the Snowball Microphone, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones. And we are here to talk to you guys about tonight's SmackDown Live, which was going to begin SmackDown's road to FastLane. I was going to say Wrestlemania, but there is going to be a speed bump on the road to WrestleMania known as FastLane. I'm alright with the Elimination Chamber. I don't mind that's setting everything up for Raw. But FastLane is unnecessary. It was one of the pay-per-views I was hoping they were going to drop off the calendar. We knew that was not the case when they released the pay-per-view schedule earlier on. But nonetheless, here we are. We are building the road to FastLane. The unnecessary stop on the road to WrestleMania. Let me tell you something else I didn't like, besides the fact that we're moving towards FastLane, is all these new graphic changes to the show. No, I'm not opposed to change. I enjoy the rebranding of Raw, usually. I enjoyed the new theme song. The new theme song was great. But last night, I thought like all the arrows around was very off-putting. I didn't like the shapes, all the geometry flying around Monday Night Raw. And tonight, I didn't like all the words very aggressively coming at me on the screen like pop-up ads that you can't get rid of. Those of us who are accustomed to YouTube and watching stuff on the internet, which is obviously what they're mimicking, view that kind of stuff and I immediately want to click it away off my TV screen. But you can't click it away. Obviously. It's very aggressive. It was something they were doing with the Mixed Match Challenge that I thought was kind of cool when you confined it to that. It made the Mixed Match Challenge stand out. It made it feel a little bit different, a little bit more current. But for some reason, doing it on SmackDown made me feel like I was watching an old episode of Batman 1966, the old Adam West classics. Like, is that the next step? Are we going to have all those action little sounds spelled out for us every time Shinsuke Nakamura delivers a Kinshasa? Is it going to go Kinshasa across the screen? The way we had to see it say Rockstar in the side scroll during Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance. And Shinsuke Nakamura's not a rock star. Shinsuke Nakamura's a wrestler. Chris Jericho's a rock star. In reality. You know, however you feel about Fozzy one way or another, it might not be your cup of tea. It might be your favorite band in the world. The front man of that band is Chris Jericho. He is a legit rock star. Shinsuke Nakamura, this whole rock star image, is just something that the WWE can own. You know, it's something that they can place on Shinsuke Nakamura that they have ownership of. He came in as the King of Strong Style. He's known as that throughout the world. They need to give him something that they can keep forever. That's theirs. I also didn't really like a lot of what happened on this show tonight. I don't know, you guys. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm wrestled out. You know, Royal Rumble weekend. We're hitting the end. This is the last installment of the Royal Rumble extravaganza. And it's just so much, you know, and it kicked off in such a hot way with NXT, and then the Royal Rumble was decent. Monday Night Raw, is what it is. And now here we are. We're doing this again. We're sitting here again. We're talking to you guys again about stuff that just, it's so far away from WrestleMania that it's hard to get excited about anything yet. Do you have faith in the WWE to deliver big on any of the things that we've seen happening tonight? I did enjoy, let's not get pigeonholed on what we didn't enjoy. Let's kind of wrap this up quickly because, like I said, I'm exhausted from all this wrestling. I don't know about you. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love my wrestling. But towards the end of the show, I was just like, please, let's just get this over with. Maybe we need to go do something else. Maybe we need to go shoot some faces in Battlefront. You know, maybe we need to detach from wrestling just for 24 hours because it's a little much. It's a little much to take in. As much as we enjoy it as fans, you guys know when you've had maybe just enough and you need at least one full day to do some other things. You know, maybe you need to do your laundry. All this wrestling's getting in the way of keeping your clothes clean. I don't know what your situation is at home. But SmackDown Live really didn't do anything outside of the Rusev victory and the beginning of the planting of the seeds for the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn breakdown, which will probably conclude at WrestleMania. And this kind of came out of nowhere. There was no miscommunication by them at the Royal Rumble. This was all due to the fault of the referee who did not, see correctly and assumed that they had made the tag. So that led to AJ Styles retaining his heavyweight championship at the Royal Rumble, which is causing all this chaos tonight. You got Shinsuke Nakamura coming out, telling everybody, calling out everybody by name and then saying knee to face. Because that's probably pretty much all he could say. He did the best he could. It was okay. I have no problem with Shinsuke and the way he speaks. It is what it is. And then you had it interrupted by the wrong guys. I thought for sure you would have AJ Styles come out, at least have them have that in-ring confrontation. They don't have to do anything. They literally could have just stood there, stared at each other for 5 minutes. The crowd would have went berserk. And then you could have went to the next segment. You don't have to do anything. There doesn't need to be any tension built. You don't need to make them tag team partners. All you need to do is build these guys up as the dominant forces that they are so that when we arrive at New Orleans, you give a shit about this match. The WWE, let me tell you guys something, the WWE doesn't give a shit about this match. We're going to go over that this weekend on our Weekend Update show. I have a whole big thing that I thought of today, and I'm going to bring it to you guys because I do not think AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania is going to be what we think it's going to be. We'll cover all that another time. We're going to cover this show and just get it over with. Because although it was not a bad show, there was just really nothing here. There was a little bit of enjoyment, and I actually enjoyed the Breezango encounter with Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. I thought that was great. I like to see where Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable are going. I like this new heel angle that they're on, and I love that they interrupted the shenanigans and the nonsense going on backstage with Breezango and the Ascension. And I love that they got pissed off, accused them of making a mockery of the tag team division, turning it into a joke, which they kind of are. Getting mad, flipping tables, ending up in a match with Breezango. I liked all that. Then we get to the match, and I was underwhelmed. It's not a bad match, but the potential for a great, great tag team encounter. The 4 guys in that ring tonight could have gave you something equal to, if not maybe even greater than what we have seen between the Usos and Gable and Benjamin. Or even the Usos and the New Day. You're talking about 4 of the premier wrestlers that you guys have on the roster. And it would have been a great contest. It would have been fantastic. This was just there. It was just a tag team match. And Bries Ango came off looking like a weak and incapable tag team. A team that has had considerable amount of time, more than Gable and Benjamin, to gel and get together, but they don't wrestle, do they? So it kind of makes sense that they would get in there and get their ass kicked by Gable and Benjamin. I just expected more. I was excited at the prospect of that tag team match. I expected the WWE to not deliver, and they did just that. They did not deliver as far as what that could have been. Was it good? I'll say it was okay. I'll say it was good. But could have been great. Could have been great. And essentially, what does it really mean? It doesn't mean anything. Because the Usos come out tonight, and I loved that little different intro package that they had where the Usos were walking backstage and they got the smoke going. You know, they're cutting a promo on their way to the ring. They walked into a big, giant, bright light. Big, huge spotlight. And faded away as we went to commercial. We come back, we get the Breezango segment, and then we get the Usos coming to the ring. They go and they do their thing. We love the Usos. Cut a fantastic promo. Going through the list of all the tag teams they've done and defeated and locked up in the penitentiary. And then the graphic bullshit starts again. Did nobody backstage, or anybody at all, think that maybe this is in bad taste, considering that, you know, one of the Usos just were arrested for a DUI? Maybe not the best idea to be slapping him behind bars 6 or 7 times on live television. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong. It's not the first time, you guys. You know that. Off-putting, made it cartoonish, turned a very awesome and serious promo into a joke. By slapping cartoon bars. Digital bars. You know, this whole change with the graphics and all this stupid extra that doesn't need to be just makes me feel like Vince McMahon has finally discovered Snapchat. Somebody must have finally put him on to, look, hey, you could take little 30-second videos, 40-second videos, you could make a whole story, you could film like a movie here, and look, you got little special effects. You could put words, you could put logos and graphics. This is what everybody's doing now. Nobody wants to watch their wrestling that way. Would you watch a Snapchat exclusive show? Do you follow WWE on Snapchat? Most likely you do if you have a Snapchat. I do. I don't sit there every day and scroll through their story. Sometimes it's just absolutely retarded. Kathy Kelly backstage somewhere. Somebody you don't give a shit about doing an appearance somewhere. The only time it's any decent is when they give you some backstage clips and a look at things that are going on live at house shows. Only reason to be following Snapchat WWE. But I feel like he's looking at what's going on and he's like, hey, we can make the show that way. It'll be hip, it'll be current, it'll be now. Not to me. To me, it's making my 2018 edition of SmackDown Live feel like a 90s skater video. You guys remember those? Remember when you were growing up in the 90s and in the early 2000s? Bam Margera was killing everything in the world. Tony Hawk was one of the biggest names of all time. One of the best video games ever created. You could turn on MTV. You could get a CKY video. You could watch Jackass, right? And you're seeing all these big words and all these things happening. Hey, welcome to this now. We're at Skater Park USA. And then you see Skater Park USA. You know, like this whole real MTV kind of vibe. We don't need that. We don't need that. Why don't you focus on giving us good wrestling and don't worry about all the bells and whistles that you could throw at us? It's bad enough we got to deal with commercials and picture-in-picture. You want to put all these other distractions on the screen. Didn't like it. Didn't like it. What else did we have tonight? I keep going off on the graphics because it was very, very annoying. And every segment had something about those graphics that just absolutely pissed me off. The Usos on their way out of the ring, after proclaiming themselves to be what they are, the greatest tag team in the world today, got interrupted by the entrance of the Bludgeon Brothers. And the Bludgeon Brothers would go into the ring, just completely ignore the Usos, not even look at them. They didn't even glance at the champs. Walked right past them, no respect. Awesome. Walked into the ring and absolutely destroyed two friggin' jokes. Heckle and Jekyll, jerking off, whatever you want to call them. I don't give a shit. It was like a 2-minute power slam party. Power move, tag, power move, done. Did you expect any different? Did you expect thing 1 and thing 2 to even throw in a punch? Did you expect these two jamokes to do anything to the Bludgeon Brothers? This was a clear message sent from the Bludgeon Brothers to the Usos that they're probably coming for them sometime soon. I don't know when, probably FastLane, if SmackDown does what I think they're going to do. But all in all, I'm actually looking forward to that. I think that would be a fantastic match. I think that would be a great matchup. The Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers probably would be a show-stealing tag team encounter. Rowan and Harper have been doing the tag team thing for years. You guys know that. They ain't no slouches either. And the contrast in styles between these tag teams will make this a great match. So I'm not going to be too down on it. What I am going to be a little down on is the fact that Ruby Riott and gang decided to beat down the women's champion. Now, that's not why I'm upset. Why I'm upset is that Carmella comes out and finally seems to seriously be looking to cash in that Money in the Bank contract. And makes herself look like a fool in doing so by going to attack Charlotte with what I guess was supposed to be a drop kick or a knee to the face, or I don't know what it was because she didn't execute it very well, and ended up bumping the referee outside before he could ring the bell, before she could truly gain a true advantage on Charlotte, even though she was laying there beaten down by the pigeon flock. And it was all for what? All for nothing, just for that tease, right? And I found myself, as Carmella was walking down the entrance, going, hey, you know what? This would be pretty interesting. You know, because Money in the Bank is in June. It's just like 45, 50 days after WrestleMania. It's coming up really quick. And I doubt they're going to give Carmella a WrestleMania cash-in. Why would you do that? She is not that level that the crowd would give a shit or would react the way you think if Carmella... Against who? Against who? Against Asuka? You got to get that briefcase off of Carmella. Waste it. Make her lose. Because that's what's going to end up happening when Asuka wins the championship from Charlotte Flair. If that's the road the WWE goes down, which is where they should be going. I don't understand it. So I thought for a moment, maybe she does this tonight. Maybe they take advantage and they get her to cash it in. They get a big splash after the WrestleMania, end the weekend with a big controversial thing like Carmella cashing in on Charlotte Flair. Everybody's going to flip out. Everybody's going to be like, oh, what about Asuka? What about WrestleMania? Nobody's going to want to see that match, right? And then you book the fucking rematch at FastLane. Get the belt back on Charlotte. Everybody can relax because that is going to be the end result anyway. If you leave it on Carmella post WrestleMania, you literally only have a few weeks before the new Money in the Bank is going to happen. And now it is going to be representing both Raw and SmackDown. So are we going to have 4 ladder matches? 4 Money in the Bank ladder matches? 2 for the men on each brand and 2 for the women on each brand? In one show? I don't know. We got to get there to see where they're going to go with that. But no matter how they do that, we can't have somebody still holding the Money in the Bank when we get to the next Money in the Bank. So I thought tonight would be an interesting twist. It would have set everybody all crazy. Would have got the world buzzing. Carmella would have threw half of these guys just like me on YouTube into a friggin' tizzy, and I think it would have been great. And you would have taken that briefcase away from her, making it a non-entity, making it a non-issue, because once WrestleMania happens, it's already a non-issue. What are you going to do on the opposite brand, right? You're not going to have Alexa Bliss walk out of the Elimination Chamber, the champion. You know, people are saying give it to Sasha Banks, make her fight Bayley at WrestleMania. That's a great idea. I love that. I love that if they book it right. So then what happens to Carmella? She's going to cash in on Sasha Banks' big moment or on Bayley's big moment? Is she going to be the swap for Asuka at WrestleMania? Well, at what's the one after? Not No Mercy. Backlash? Or whatever the next one that follows is for SmackDown before we get to Money in the Bank in June. But again, they failed to pull the trigger on something that would actually be interesting. It wouldn't have been the greatest thing. I might have actually come on here and been one of these ranting and raving people pissed off about it if I didn't come up with the idea myself and had a few minutes to think about it, let it marinate, and say, you know what, no, that would be a great idea. It would have been really, really cool to see them do that, get it out of the way, and then set things back in motion. You didn't even have to wait the FastLane. You could have done it next week on SmackDown. Rematch. Invoke her rematch clause. Get it right back, because Carmella is no match for the Queen on even playing field. I think that would have just been a better way to tell the story. Baron Corbin versus Ty Dillinger. Again, this was one of the matches on this night that I really didn't give two shits about. I could care less about Ty Dillinger anymore. It's obvious to me that he's only there to be an enhancement talent, and his job is to do just that. And job to all these other people. Ty Dillinger will never get a major push. He's not going to get a mid-card title. He's just going to be one of those guys. He is going to be this generation's Dolph Ziggler. Fantastic at his job, can give you a 5-star match on any given night, but they're just going to make him lay and look at the lights to all the people that they want to succeed, like Baron Corbin. Terrible. This match ended very anticlimactically, as Ty Dillinger looked to be bringing the big man to some sort of a good match, and then it was over with an end of days before you knew it. An unnecessary match, an unnecessary loss for Ty Dillinger, and an unnecessary win for Baron Corbin. Who cares about Baron Corbin anymore? I was one of the biggest proponents of Baron Corbin just about 1 year ago today. And at this point now, I could care less. What has he done? Nothing. What has he done? You tell me. What warrants us having to stomach him on this show every week doing absolutely nothing? Beating people that should be being featured in a much better light than he is. Unnecessary. Benjamin and Gable versus Breezango, we covered. It could have been way, way better than it was, even though it was pretty decent. Then you had the tag team main event of AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Owens and Zayn started to pick at each other during the middle of this show, which just didn't make sense. Their teamwork on Sunday was fine. Like we said earlier, you know, all of the fault and the blame can be placed on the referee. No, neither one of them is at fault. Daniel Bryan decides that in order to determine who is going to be the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship and face the champ AJ Styles at FastLane, it's going to be Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens next week on SmackDown Live. So next week we have Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for the number one contendership, and we are going to have Bobby Roode versus Rusev Day on Rusev Day, coincidentally. Two big-time matches to watch for next week. This week's show ended controversially, and it is the most interesting thing that happened on this night, even though I think it's happening a little too soon. We have so much time before then. To break them up right now gives them 2 months almost to hate the shit out of each other. Maybe it'll be good, maybe not. I don't know. Sami Zayn took it upon himself to leave Kevin Owens stranded and allow him to battle AJ and Shinsuke 2-on-1. He would be watching backstage as his best friend would end up losing this match to the two biggest and best wrestlers in the world, and then would be interviewed with Renee Young. And he would go off and say, listen, this doesn't mean we're not still friends. Kevin Owens understands that. Kevin Owens understands that he's had his chances. It's my turn now. I liked it. I liked the interview as we went off the air, but I do not think that this is the proper time. I think there was a little bit more leg room to move with this before we pulled the trigger on this breakup leading us into WrestleMania. But I'm not going to complain about it too much. It's just, like I said, going through it one by one. At the beginning of the show, I told you guys, oh, the show, blah, blah, blah. Complain, right? Because that's what we do. And maybe I am just overexhausted with wrestling. But there were some decent things that happened. All in all, we're just going to have to wait and see where this road winds. Because it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning, you guys. And this is the end of this review. Because there's not much more we can really say. We told you guys the winners and losers. We got the mixed match challenge coming up. I got to go watch that still. And hopefully I don't pass out before the end of the night from complete and total exhaustion. Just too much wrestling. Too many late nights sitting here with Blue, staring at that blue light, which is you guys for me. And I just need a little bit of a break. So we're going to go watch the Mixed Match Challenge. It's just one more match. I think we could suffer through it. And then we're going to come here and tell you guys what we thought. Because I am totally excited for this match. It's one of the matches I was looking forward to the most in this tournament. Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss versus Sami Zayn, who was just in the main event of SmackDown Live, and Becky Lynch, which it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Becky Lynch. Why you weren't on the show tonight, I don't understand. Maybe they were just saving you for the mixed match. Whatever the case may be. Happy birthday, young lass, and I hope you have a good one. That's going to do it, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I know this wasn't the best show. I know that. I'm going to call myself out, and I bring the hammer down on myself when I can. But if you enjoyed this show, please subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that subscribe button, ring the ringside bell that sits next to that word so you will be notified when each and every show, which will be infinitely better than this one from this point on, because I will have more energy this weekend and I will be recouped and ready to go for this road to WrestleMania. Like this video, share this video with your wrestling buddies. That's going to do it. We are out of here. I am Nick Nightmare. This is Blue the Snowball Microphone, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones. This has been your SmackDown Live review right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on SledgeHammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you later on for the Mixed Match Challenge. Don't forget to check everything else out from Royal Rumble weekend. There's a ton of content live on the channel. All you got to do is go check it out. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.